On this episode of The Sight Picture, we go before the board, not to be trumped by Donald, but instead by 5 Command Sgts Major. This story comes straight from the horse's mouth, and you can't get blood from a stone, but you can from a Blue Devil soldier. These stories and more bad metaphors and cliches coming up. You're in The Sight Picture, right here, right now. Welcome to another episode of The Sight Picture, shooting inside the boardroom where the 88th Regional Readiness Command held its recent soldier appearance boards at Fort Snelling, Minnesota. I'm Sergeant Josh Twerberg. According to most studies, people rank public speaking as their #1 fear. What's comparable to this fear? Perhaps having a little quality Army time answering questions in front of 5 Command Sgts Major. Sergeant First Class Chris Farley was at the recent 88th RRC Soldier, Non-Commissioned Officer, and Sergeant Audie Murphy Club boards and has this story to share.
It started with what could seem like a long walk down a dark hallway. 16 Blue Devil soldiers faced 5 Command Sgts Major in this room to compete for top honors in the recent 88th Regional Readiness Command's appearance board held at Fort Snelling in Minnesota. Soldiers competed for either Soldier of the Year or Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year, along with some candidates competing for membership consideration in the Sergeant Audie Murphy Club. Private First Class Thomas Finley was the first soldier to appear before the board.
First thought, they're going to go in and shoot me up. I'm the first one, and being my first time, this is a newbie we're going to hammer, But you keep your composure, no matter if you're the first or the last.
Oh, I wish you wouldn't do this. Everybody's gonna see this. Hey, look, he's all tore up. That's not supposed to go there.
Waiting soldiers did last-minute inspections on their uniforms and continue reviewing their study guides. It was critical for each soldier to get the leading edge before going into the boardroom, because any uniform infraction or incorrect answer could decide the outcome of who would take top honors.
What's that? You're snowing all over.
Oh, shoot.
The Command Sgts Major visually inspected every candidate's Class A uniform before asking any questions. All candidates were evaluated on more than just correct answers, but also their personal appearance, military bearing, and the ability to communicate.
If you're asking for anyone that's going to be preparing for this, just study, 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 I guess. Try to get a good sponsor, someone who's going to help you be there when you need to ask questions.
These high-caliber soldiers represented less than 1% of the soldiers in the 88th. The winners of the Soldier and NCO of the Year would proceed on to the United States Army Reserve Command level of competition. Each candidate earned the bragging rights to become the next poster child for the most to a soldier. But the bottom line is, each soldier demonstrated their ability to personally develop themselves into a leader, soldier, and a warrior. Reporting for The Sight Picture, I'm Sergeant First Class Chris Farley.
For this next story, I follow some Blue Devil soldiers that demonstrate their selfless service and a little bit of personal courage as they donate blood for a good cause.
Why give blood?
Why not? I got plenty to spare.
It's not just the fact of having plenty to spare. People and soldiers give blood for many reasons. For some, it is another way to serve their country. For others, it's just for the free juice and cookies.
Who's next?
But the fact is, someone needs blood in the United States every 3 seconds. That's an average of 30,000 pints of blood a day. If you have ever wondered what you could do to help, you could follow these Blue Devil soldiers' footsteps and make a donation.
I donate blood to help others.
The whole process, from the screening and testing to the completion of your donation, takes less than an hour, and your blood could save up to 3 lives, perhaps an accident victim, a child with leukemia, or even a soldier wounded overseas. 37 Blue Devils donated their time and blood to make this drive a success. If you would like to make a donation or host a blood drive, find out how and where by logging on to www.givelife.org. Reporting for the Sight Picture, I'm Sergeant Josh Twerberg.
Congratulations to Specialist Theodore Bouthelette, the 88th RRC Soldier of the Year, for winning the 2006 U.S. Army Reserve Command Soldier of the Year competition. Specialist Bouthelette went on to compete at the ForceCom level. Sergeant First Class Chris Farley was there and has this story.
Begin.
Specialist Theodore Bouthelette isn't a stranger to soldier competitions and appearance boards.
We started at the group level, so brigade, division, USARC, and now this one.
Bouthelette won top honors at the 88th RRC Soldier of the Year competition and repeated the same success at the United States Army Reserve or USARC level. Bouthelette traveled to Fort Hood, Texas in July to compete again for the United States Forces Command or ForceCom title. The winner would represent ForceCom at the Department of the Army competition.
I'll tell you, we got an excellent crew of NCOs and soldiers out here, today. And this competition is very tight right now, and it just might come down to their board appearance, to how well they represent themselves, tomorrow, to really separate them from their peers.
Competing soldiers were tested on common soldier tasks: physical fitness, day and night land navigation, rifle marksmanship, written and oral communication skills, and also a mystery task that involved a black box full of disassembled weapons parts. Bouthelette was one of a few soldiers able to take the mixed parts and rebuild a 9mm pistol, an M240 medium machine gun, a squad automatic weapon or saw, and an M16 in 10 minutes and 40 seconds. Bouthelette wasn't selected as ForceCom Soldier of the Year, but does remain Soldier of the Year for the 88th and Army Reserve. This status has given him some special benefits.
I have my own parking spot out there now that they made for me. Got an old sign from the county, an old speed limit sign, and we painted it black, and they put the Army star on there and wrote reserved for the Soldier of the Year on there. So it's my parking spot right out in front.
Reporting for the Sight Picture, I'm Sergeant First Class Chris Farley.
Wherever the Blue Devil story is, the Sight Picture staff, all two of us, take pride in traveling anywhere in the world to be there to tell the Blue Devil story. For this next story, I travel to Holland, Michigan, to get back in the saddle with the Blue Devil Horse Platoon.
Since the beginning of the 88th, Blue Devil soldiers have been a part of making history. That fact will not change as long as the 88th enlists soldiers like Private Leslie Whalen. Whalen is one of the newest Blue Devils, as well as a new member of the Blue Devil Horse Platoon. Whalen's enlistment ceremony wasn't the ordinary raise your right hand at the MEPS Center. Members of the Blue Devil Horse Platoon must be actively serving in the Army Reserve, which was what made Whalen enlist.
I've always had a love for horses, and when I met up with Richard Dyke up at the Michigan State Stallion Expo, I had talked with him for quite a while, and the horse platoon is what got me into it.
The enlistment was part of a show put on by the Cavalry Ariscuerta, the Household Cavalry, and the Blue Devil Horse Platoon during the 2006 Tulip Time Festival in Holland, Michigan. Whalen's mother was apprehensive about her son joining the Army, but was very proud to see him enlist.
When he was throughout high school, he was hearing from teachers, principals, and various people, horses would never get him anywhere. You know, he'd never be able to make anything out of his life dealing with horses. And I'm glad he didn't take them seriously, because that is what has got him to this point.
The Blue Devil Horse Platoon travels all over the world, and Whalen will have the opportunity to travel with them to march in parades and put on riding demonstrations. Reporting for the Sight Picture, I'm Sergeant Josh Twerberg.
Let's take a look at what's going on for our next episode of the Sight Picture. 3 more names and faces are added to the Wall of Heroes at Fort Snelling. Also, have you seen the Wall of Heroes at Fort McCoy? And you can't be an army of one anymore, but you can be Army Strong. We talk to Blue Devil soldiers and get their feedback on the new ad campaign that's shaping the Army. I'm Sergeant Josh Twerberg saying, keep us in your sight picture, and we'll see you next time.